everyone. This is Amy of AJC Magic TV. I know I'm on a little bit early. I didn't see that T. Marie was live, and I'm actually on my way home from my appointment, and I thought, well, I double-checked if she is live. I do apologize. But welcome in. We'll do some pop trivia. Like I said, I only started a little bit early because I was looking to see who was live and who wasn't. And I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I didn't see T. Marie's place live or anyone else that normally. So, and I'll wait until people come in. And if people don't come in, I'll just go ahead and read the questions for the pop trivia. And you can play along on the replay. And if you did play along on the replay, let me know. Leave a comment how many questions you got right. And all I ask is if you hit that thumbs up button. Also, hello, it's Joey's World. Hello, Catherine Wilby. No problem, it's Joey's World. Hello, William, England, Portugal. Welcome in. Yeah, it's Joey's World. Joey probably would have loved my Super Bowl trivia the other day. Could have used them up against Friendly Gamer. But I just figure people can play along. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Also, consider subscribing if you're new and watching the replay, or you are new. We do Disney World when we get a chance to get down to Orlando. We also do events and attractions in and around Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland if we get down there, and New York and New Jersey if we ever get out to those places and it gets warm. I know I'm planning possible trip up to Niagara Falls, New York at some point. Then with the weather and everything, once it gets nice, I'll probably be showing you around the Pittsburgh Home and Garden Show that'll be starting in March. So just keep that notification bell rung because you never know when we go live. But welcome in, everyone. Hello, Journey with Kiki. Welcome in. I will start with a question from the 1950s. And then whoever answers first correctly, they get to pick the next category. And the categories are the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s. So those are the categories. And I'll start with the 1950s just because I already had a card out. And if no one's playing along or gets it correct, I'll just continue on with the other categories because sometimes we don't get up to the 2000s. It just depends on who's all in the chat and who answers correctly first. So welcome in. But here we go from the 1950s. Hello, Sebastian the Crab. Welcome in. But here we go. During the 1950s, which popular male hairstyle consisted of greased hair piled on top with the sides swept back to form a ridge? During the 1950s, which popular male hairstyle consisted of greased hair piled on top with the sides swept back to form a ridge? And it's a question from the 1950s. I think it's Joey's World answered, and I'm guessing that's what they're trying to say with surf bum. I know England, Portugal, you have a good answer, but it is either a duck's ass, which I'm guessing that's what it's Joey's World with the DA, and Surf Bum John with the duck's butt. It is either called the ducktail or the duck's butt type of thing. Yes. So it's Joey's World and Surf Bum John. And It's Joey's World gets to pick the next category. So you can pick from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Let's see what you... Is that an American term? A ducktail or ducks ASS? I'm guessing yes. And if you're thinking the quiff, if that's maybe something in Portugal, you can let me know that, William. And I can give you a point. And It's Joey's World wants the 70s. Okay. Okay, no problem. The 1970s. Here we go. Which aftershave launched in 1976 was advertised as for the man who doesn't have to try too hard? I think I was just trying to guess something. Okay, William, no problem. I just want to make sure. To be fair for everyone. Here we go, 1970s. Which aftershave launched in 1976 was advertised as for the man who doesn't have to try too hard? Not today, It's Joey's World. It actually was 50 degrees today, but it's going to get cold again here overnight, and it's starting to get a little cold now, but there's no snow on the ground. I don't know if when snow's going to come or not. Everyone's guessing some good answers, but they're not the correct ones. Not Aqua Velva, not Respect, not Gillette, or Old Spice. Welcome in, Brian K. Welcome in, TSM Rapper. So welcome in. But it starts with the letter D, if you've ever heard of that cologne. Which aftershave launched in 1976 was advertised as for the man who doesn't have to try too hard? Drakkar, no. Eventually I'll have to turn that on. Well, I know it's not in there, no. But it starts with the letter D. I don't know if I've ever heard of this one in the 70s either. So, 1976, I was in 4th grade or whatever. So I don't really recall this particular aftershave. But I'll go ahead and give the answer. And for someone who's playing along on the replay, which aftershave launched in 1976 was advertised as for the man who doesn't have to try too hard? And it was called Denim. Denim. It was called Denim. Oops. Okay, It's Joey's World. Do you want to stick with the 70s? Do you want to stick with the 70s? It's Joey's World. Yeah, it was called Denim. I don't recall ever hearing about that particular one. Okay, staying with the 70s. Okay, here we go. What late night live TV variety show premiered on NBC in 1975 with a different celebrity guest hosting each episode? Yeah, some people in the chat were not born then. Okay, no problem, Mike. And It's Joey's World and Surf Bum John get it with Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live. Okay, let's see who got it first out of the two of you. And It's Joey's World. You still have control of the categories. Yeah, it was a great show. I always remember staying up late to watch Saturday Night Live. And especially when I was babysitting too. And the kids would always already be asleep. Okay, sticking with the 1970s. Here we go. Alien is a 1979 science fiction horror film directed by whom? Alien is a 1979 science fiction horror film directed by whom? Ooh, that's a good guess. Those are good guesses. Not Steven Spielberg or James Cameron. And we got Surf Bum John and What in the World with Russ. Yeah, where's Movie Mania Nick when you need him? But Surf Bum John and Russ get it with Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott. I think he was like more of that sci-fi type of person there. But yeah, when I said that. Okay, so John, you get the pick the category. 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s. Yeah, he had some good movies there. So, John, you get to pick the next category. The 80s. He's going with the 80s. I missed the that part of the scene and the great movie ride with Alien and everything. Welcome in. This our dreams, Jeff or Angela. Or both. You never know. But here we go with the 1980s. Which video game originally featured the character Mario? Which video game originally featured the character Mario? Uh-oh. And Russ and It's Joey's World get it first with Donkey Kong. It was Donkey Kong. Yeah. Let me fix the stand here. Move it back a little bit. The problem is the suction cup gets loose and I could see it starting to move, so I wanted to grab it before it fell. But Russ gets it first, and It's Joey's World with Donkey Kong. And I gotta go back and see. Okay, yeah, it was John. But Donkey Kong. Welcome in, Jeanette, Sebastian the Crab. Okay, It's Joey's World. You get to pick the category. With the answer, Donkey Kong. You could stick with the 80s or go back to the 70s. The 70s. Okay, here we go. Yes, you do. Right now, you and Surf Bum John are tied with 3 points. Russ has 2 points. So everybody else got to get their thinking caps on and catch up. Okay, here we go. Which Atlanta Braves outfielder hit his 715th career home run in 1974, surpassing Babe Ruth's all-time mark? Oh, And Mike Bush and This Our Dreams gets it with Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron. So Mike Bush and This Our Dreams. With Hank Aaron. Okay, Mike Bush, you get to pick the next category. Let me make sure I didn't miss someone. Yeah. Mike Bush, you get to pick the next category. The 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s. Yeah, that's true. He missed my Super Bowl trivia, but I know he's probably having a great time having a Super Bowl party or getting ready to watch the Super Bowl. But he would have challenged the friendly gamer at a good one. Okay, Mike Bush is sticking with the 70s. Here we go. Which television network was launched in 1979 as a channel dedicated to true sports fans? Which television network was launched in 1979 as a channel dedicated to true sports fans? And we have Brian K. And It's Joey's World with ESPN. Way to go, Brian K. And It's Joey's World. So welcome to the board, Brian K. Okay, Brian K. You get to pick the next category. So you have your choice of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s. Hey, I know some sports by association. And he wants to go back to the 80s. The 1980s. Okay, here we go. Darn it. Uh-oh. There we go. I'm getting, This Our Dreams originality here. Sorry about that. I gotta get a new thing for a new holder, so I do apologize for that. Makes it for comic relief, I guess. But the 1980s. I hope everyone's still here. After that, the first time around I could see it moving. This time I didn't. But here we go. Who sold his car in 1983 to help save his father's business and ultimately start up a pizza company? I'll turn that on. That's good. Who sold his car in 1983 to help save his father's business and ultimately start up a pizza company? And it's still in business today. And Brian K. and Russ get it with Papa John's. So Russ and Brian K. get it with Papa John's. Okay, Brian K. Yeah, I'm going to have to find some England, Portugal for questions about England or Portugal for you, William. Or, you never know, maybe something else or sports questions. Yeah, I don't have it there. I'm probably not. It's probably more of an American pizza company. I was totally kidding. I can't believe that was right. Hey, that's a good guess. You never know. Okay. So, Brian K., you get to pick the category. You can stay with the 80s or pick another category. Another decade. Let's go with the 90s. Okay. We'll grab a 90s card. Usually we don't get the 90s and 2000s. I met Papa John's. It's headquartered in Louisville. Okay, that would be cool. Hello, Dean the Turkey Legster. Welcome in. We're going to do some trivia from 1990s. Here we go. I'll let everyone say hello to Dean. Then he went nuts and Shaq took over. Okay, here we go. What slang phrase was coined? That's weird. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. I'll read the question again. What slang phrase was coined to describe chronic fatigue experienced by people in highly paid but stressful professions? Yeah, I noticed that. I hope it's still not lagging here. Hello, Kathy. Welcome in. I'm tired, yo. Hello, Annie Koo. Jive turkey. Remember what they called like young professionals who had money. Welcome in, Kathy and Randy. Hello, Kathy. Welcome in. Burnout. Brian K. You got the first part of it, but they called it the yuppie blank. The yuppie blank. Yeah, yuppie something. Yeah, it's kind of weird how that signal kind of just went, and it was perfect when I pulled in. And It's Joey's World got it with the yuppie flu. The yuppie flu. And I will give Brian K a point for the yuppie part. But It's Joey's World got the first one, and Brian K will get the point for the second. But the yuppie flu. It's YUPPY flu. Yeah, they called a lot of young professionals who had a lot of money called yuppies. It's kind of a slang term for young professionals. Okay, back to the 1970s. Here we go. Tony Monero. Yeah, another American term, William. Tony Monero is the central character in which film from 1977? Tony Monero is the central character in which film from 1977? And Catherine Wilby and Surf Bum John gets it with Saturday Night Fever. Saturday Night Fever. So John got it first. So you get to pick the next category when you get a chance. But yes, it was Saturday Night Fever. John Travolta was Tony Monero. So good job on that. And he's sticking with the 70s. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Amy of AJC Magic TV, and we're playing Pop Trivia. And right now, we are doing a category from the 1970s. So here we go. Plastic Letters, Parallel Lines, and Eat to the Beat are 1970s albums by which band? Plastic Letters, Parallel Lines, and Eat to the Beat are 1970s albums by which band? I did see a correct answer. See if anybody else comes up with the answer. But one more time with the question. Plastic Letters, Parallel Lines, and Eat to the Beat are 1970s albums by which band? And It's Joey's World gets it with Blondie. Blondie. Welcome in, Disney Nerd Herders. And so It's Joey's World and Mike Wheeler with Blondie. And welcome in Charlie and Stacy of the Disney Nerd Herders, the 1970s. So It's Joey's World sticking with the 70s. Okay, here we go. Which TV game show premiered on NBC in 1975 featuring a competition in which contestants solve word puzzles similar to Hangman? I'll read the question again here. Which TV game show premiered on NBC in 1975 featuring a competition in which contestants solve word puzzles and similar to Hangman? And the first person I see is Sebastian the Crab and Mike Bush. Get it with Wheel of Fortune. So Sebastian the Crab. Jeanette. Okay, Sebastian the Crab. You get to... Yeah, I remember that, how they used to pick out the prizes and stuff with the money that they won. Okay, she'd like to have the 1980s, but it was Wheel of Fortune. Okay, 1980s. Which film, originally released in 1984, was remade in 2016 with a female cast replacing the original male cast members? Yeah. Yes, there was always a Dalmatian umbrella holder. Yep. I remember that. So, which film, originally released in 1984, was remade in 2016 with a female cast replacing the original male cast members? And Ghostbusters was the answer. And It's Joey's World and William, England, Portugal. So welcome to the board, William. And It's Joey's World. So good job, England, Portugal, and It's Joey's World. And going back to the 70s. I might have to find new cards for the 70s. Usually it's the 70s and 80s everybody likes. Okay, here we go. Name the year Louis Brown, the world's first test tube baby. I'm sorry. Name the year Louise Brown, the world's first test tube baby, is born. The first Susan B. Anthony dollar enters circulation. The musical film Grease is released. What year in the 70s? Name the year when Louise Brown was born as the first test tube baby. The first Susan B. Anthony dollar enters the circulation, and the musical film Grease is released. So let's see who got it. Welcome in, Timothy Rainwaters. And It's Joey's World gets it with 1978. 1978. So, good job. It's Joey's world. Okay. Staying with the 70s. Welcome in, Lori French. Let me grab a new card here. We finished that category. Welcome in. It's Joey's world. Timothy Rainwaters. Who remembers the 70s, really? They were all smoking stuff in the basements and putting keys in bowls. Oh, I was growing up in the 70s, so I was young, real young. Okay, here we go. 1970s. What happened in New York City in July 1977 for 25 hours that caused looting and disorder in the city? What happened in New York City in July 1977 for 25 hours that caused looting and disorder in the city? And the Disney Nerd Herders and It's Joey's World gets it with a blackout. I remember that one. It was crazy. I'm sure it was. And welcome to the board, Disney Nerd Herders. So, are you sticking with the 70s or going to a new category? It's Joey's World. Must have been crazy. Yeah, I'm sure it was, because when things... Where were you when the lights went off? Yeah, it's kind of weird. It must be moving in and out there. I'll wait and read the question again since there was lag, so I do apologize. Yeah, it's kind of weird how it just kind of lagged like that. But here we go. I'll read the question again. What was the 1973 tennis match between Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs marketed as? I was home and it was steamy hot. I bet. Especially in July in New York City. All that pavement. And the Disney Nerd Herders and Brian K. get it with the Battle of the Sexes. The Battle of the Sexes. So, Brian K. and Serpum John. And Brian K. got it first. Or wait a minute, I'm sorry. It was the Disney Nerd Herders. I'm sorry. I will give John the point, even though it is the Disney Nerd Herders got it first. So they get to pick the category. So the Disney Nerd Herders, you can pick the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Okay, going to the 80s. Okay, here we go. Name any two of Madonna's 4 albums released during the 80s. Name any 2 of the 4 albums released by Madonna during the 80s. I know I would have gotten all of them. You have to name 2 of them. Let's see. So the Disney Nerd Herders and Surf Bum John get it. Oh, no, not Material Girl. Sorry. Material Girl isn't, but the Disney Nerd Herders got Like a Virgin. Yeah, Like a Virgin, but Material Girls is not on the list. But actually, It's Joey's World got Like a Prayer. So, Like a Virgin, Like a Prayer. Autocorrect. Like a Virgin, yeah, Material Girl is not on the list. But that's a good one. But Like a Prayer and Like a Virgin. So I'll give It's Joey's World and the Disney Nerd Herders a point there. And I'll see if anybody else got, and Timothy Rainwaters, just because there was different ones. So Disney Nerd Herders and It's Joey's World and Timothy. But the four were Madonna, Like a Virgin, True Blue, and Like a Prayer. So Madonna, Like a Virgin, True Blue, Like a Prayer were the name of the albums. Okay, so It's Joey's World. You get to control the board again. Uh-oh. Sticking with the 80s. Gonna stick with the 80s. Okay, here we go, everyone. Next question. Who sang a duet with Dolly Parton in the #1 hit song Islands in the Stream? Who sang a duet with Dolly Parton in the #1 hit song Islands in the Stream? And the Disney Nerd Herders and Sebastian the Crab get it with Kenny Rogers. So the Disney Nerd Herders and Sebastian the Crab. And Catherine Wilby with Kenny Rogers. I'll go ahead and give the first three. So the Disney Nerd Herders, you get to pick the next category. So you could do the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s. Welcome in, Movie Mania Nick. Sticking with the 80s. Okay, here we go. Name the year. Name the year in the 1980s. The first DeLorean automobile rolls off the production line in Northern Ireland. President Ronald Reagan is shot in the chest, and Major League Baseball goes on strike. What year in the 80s was that? I did see someone. And the Disney Nerd Herders and Catherine Wilby get it with 1981. So Catherine Wilby and the Disney Nerd Herders with 1981. And the Disney Nerd Herders, you get to pick the next category. And hello, Lori French. I thought I said hi, but if not, hello. So Disney Nerd Herders going with the 90s. Okay, here we go. Which TV show starred John Lithgow and Jane Curtin as visiting aliens trying to blend into modern day society? Which TV show starred John Lithgow and Jane Curtin as visiting aliens trying to blend into modern day society? And let's see who got it first. John Surfbum and Brian Kay and Disney Nerd Herders. The Third Rock from the Sun. So John, Brian Kay, and Disney Nerd Herders. Third Rock from the Sun. Okay, John, you get to pick the next category. Yeah, it was an interesting show. What in the world with Ross, Donnie, and Marie? Wrong year. Although it's funny. Or the Coneheads, that's what I was thinking, but that wasn't a show. Going back to the 70s. Okay, here we go. 1970s. Name the year in 1970 during the 70s. The Iran blizzard caused about 4,000 deaths. The hacky sack was invented in Oregon. Chrysler brought electronic ignition to automobiles. What year in the 70s the Iran blizzard caused about 4,000 deaths? The hacky sack was invented in Oregon. Chrysler brought electronic ignition to automobiles. And let's see here. So it's Joey's World, and Mike Wheeler get it with 1972. So Mike Wheeler and It's Joey's World. Good job. And let's see, going with the 70s. I gotta grab a new card. That category's going fast. Okay, here we go. How do people invent the hacky sack and remember what year? I remember the hacky sack, but I remembered it more in the 80s in high school than it being the 70s. I just remember that was the big thing in between classes and stuff. Because where I went to high school, we actually had, it was kind of like a college campus type of high school campus, so you got to go outside in between classes, and people would be out playing hacky sack. Okay. Hang on a second, all the cards spilled, so I don't want to get them everywhere. And we're sticking with the 70s. So here we go, 1970. Which number one song was the debut single for the rock band The Knack in 1979? Which number one song was the debut single for the rock band The Knack in 1979? So, Disney Nerd Herders, this our dreams, and it's Joey's World with My Sharona. My Sharona. Knick-knack, paddywhack. Okay, Disney Nerd Herders, you get to pick the category. I think Jeff wrote the song, yeah. It was actually pretty funny watching Samantha's M80 stream and seeing all those guys dancing, going nuts over there. I'll tell you what, if I would have known the M80s were going to be back in Disney Springs, I probably would have postponed my trip a little bit to go get some of that action there. But the 1980s, the Disney Nerd Herders. Okay, here we go. Which cartoon character was often seen stuck in the inside of a car window during the 80s? Which cartoon character was often seen stuck to the inside of a car window during the 1980s? That's a good guess. So Brian K gets it first with Garfield, It's Joey's World, and the Disney Nerd Herders. So Brian K. It's Joey's World and the Disney Nerd Herders with Garfield. Scooby-Doo was a good guess, though. But yes, Garfield. That was one of my favorites. I had Garfield everything back then. Okay, Disney. Brian K., you get to pick the category. I had Garfield PJs in the 80s. You had a Garfield mug, a Garfield dog, or Garfield stuffed animal. All that stuff. He wants the 90s. Garfunkel. Okay, here we go. 1990s. Ghostface is a fictional identity adopted by several characters in which successful horror franchise, the first film of which was released in 1996. Ghostface. And It's Joey's World. Brian K. and Russ get it with Scream. With Scream. So It's Joey's World. Brian K. and Russ. I think Russ got it second or third. Let's see, make sure. Yeah. It's Joey's World, Russ and Brian K. Yeah, that was... Oh, that's the answer. I was just reacting to Ghostface. And I can understand why Movie Mania Nick said when I saw that scary movie, because they're making fun of the Scream character. Okay, so It's Joey's World. What category do you want? Back to the 70s or try something else? Okay, the 80s. Okay, yeah, I just saw it. Thank you. A little lag there. Okay, the 80s. Here we go. What was the name of actor Don Johnson's character in the hit television series Miami Vice? What was the name of the actor Don Johnson's character in the hit television series Miami Vice? So It's Joey's World. John got it with Crockett. With Crockett. So It's Joey's World and Surf Bum John. And the Nerd Herders came in right as I was saying it. So it was Crockett. Stick with the 80s. Okay. Here we go. 1980s. The 1982 action film First Blood was the first to feature which fictional character? I was a baby when the show came out. The 1982 action film First Blood was the first to feature which fictional character? And Brian K., It's Joey's World, and Surf Bum John got it with Rambo. With Rambo. So Brian K., It's Joey's World, and Surf Bum John. John Rambo. They gave the full name. Okay, Brian K., you get to pick the next category. It's weird because I have the internet there. Yeah, I'll wait. It is the 1980s. Yeah, I'm going to hold on because I noticed the lag there. Yeah, I'm going to hold on a moment, but he did pick the 1980s. Give a couple more seconds here. Hopefully it won't lag again. But here we go. Next question. Released in 1987, which song by YouTube? Okay, let me read this again. Released in 1987, which song by U2 was their first #1 single in the U.S.? Released in 1987, which song by U2 was their first #1 single in the U.S.? There's some good guesses so far, but that's not the correct answer. But they're good guesses. Gotta go through your U2 songs. Released in 1987, which song by U2 was their first #1 single in the U.S.? Everybody left the sheets and now I'm getting lag. But I did see Russ had it with or Without You. Nick, Movie Mania Nick, I believe he quoted one of the lines in the song. But It's Joey's World, With or Without You. And Annie Koo, With or Without You. So Russ, It's Joey's World, Annie Koo, and I will give Movie Mania Nick a point because I know he was trying to say that, but he did the line of the song. But Annie Koo, Russ got it first, and It's Joey's World, and Movie Mania Nick. Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, I know you're thinking of it, but I will give you the point here. Oh, is it Annie Koo? Okay, maybe it, yeah. It could be. I wasn't sure. I haven't found what you're looking for. I thought it was with that. Okay. But Annie Koo, Russ, and It's Joey's World got it right with or Without You. So, Russ, you get to pick the category. Yeah, after thinking about it, I figured it probably was. But then I was like, wait, is that in that song or not? Thank you, Annie. All their songs get all mixed up there. But Russ, you get to pick the next category. Okay, we want to do a 2000 question. Okay, the year 2000. Here we go. In the animated film Ice Age, what item is the obsession of Scrat, the saber-toothed squirrel? The saber-toothed squirrel. Sorry. In the animated film Ice Age, what item is the obsess of Scrat, the saber-toothed squirrel? And let's see who got it first. Sebastian the Crab. What in the world with Russ? And Disney Nerd Herders. So, Sebastian the Crab. It was the acorn. The acorn. So, Sebastian the Crab gets to pick the next category. So, Jeanette, you get to pick either the 2000s or going back to the 70s. Okay, here we go. The 1970s. Which television drama series followed the lives of two motorcycle police officers of the California Highway Patrol? Which television drama series followed the lives of two motorcycle police officers of the California Highway Patrol? And the answer was Chips, and It's Joey's World, Disney Nerd Herders, and Russ. Get it with Chips. So Disney Nerd Herders, Russ, and Joey's World with Chips. Yeah, Eric Lestrada with the Chips. Staying with the 70s. We'll do about 5 more questions. Don't forget to check out the Disney Nerd Herders going live at 7 p.m. Also, I know Pete McDevitt does interviews with other creators, so you can check out that. The D&G Explorers and Joy S. and Company at 8 p.m. This and That Crew at 9 p.m. Monarch Moments may be going live later this evening. I'm not sure, but you can always check them out around 9:30. And then I know tomorrow there's Gonzo who has a show, Gonzo usually does his trivia show, and also the Philly crew and others. So also check out Dean of the Live Place, theliveplace.com. I could go for some fish and chips. Or potato chips. Okay, we're going to stay with the 70s. So we'll do about 5 more questions here. Here we go. Which 1974 disaster film had an all-star cast led by Paul Newman and Steve McQueen? Okay, no Monarch Moments tonight. Yeah, it's hard to tell because they've been switching around of different nights and stuff. He might have his overnight stream. Sometimes he does that. But which 1974 disaster movie had an all-star cast led by Paul Newman and Steve McQueen? And so far, I've not seen the answer, but a lot of you had good guesses with Poseidon Adventure and Earthquake. Not Airport. And Catherine Wilby and the Disney Nerd Herders get it with Towering Inferno. Towering Inferno. So Catherine Wilby and Disney Nerd Herders. But it was the Towering Inferno. Yeah, I remember all those disaster movies all the years. In those years there, Earthquake, Towering Inferno, the Poseidon Adventure, all of those things. The Earthquake movie, yep. Airplane. Okay, so let's see who got it first out of that crew. And it was Catherine Wilby, so you get to pick the category. She's going to the 60s. We haven't had a 60s card lately. Here we go, 1960s. That's why she likes me burning my lawn. Yeah. Okay, here we go, 1960s. In 1963, which country music star was killed in a plane crash along with fellow performers while returning from a benefit performance in Kansas? In 1963, which country music star was killed in a plane crash along with fellow performers while returning from a benefit performance in Kansas? Buddy Holly is a good guess, but it is a country female singer. But Buddy Holly is a good guess. Big Hooper, Bopper, Big Bopper, no. And Catherine Wilby and Brian K. get it with Patsy. Welcome in, Nicole. I know I just lagged. I'll wait a few moments. Oh, where is Catherine? There's that. Where's Brian K? Oh, there we go. Good job, Brian K. And Patsy Cline was a whole different show. Yes. I remember watching The Coal Miner's Daughter, and she said I was going on a trip, and then, of course, when Loretta Lynn woke up that morning, they had it on the news about her passing away in the plane crash on the movie. Okay, so Catherine Wilby gets to pick the category. Wait, right? Let me make sure. Actually, yeah, Catherine Wilby. So she's sticking with the 60s. So we have two more questions after this question here. So 1960s. Here we go. Released in 1962, Surfin' Safari is the debut studio album by which band? Lady Lag is a cute nickname, Lisa. Released in 1962, Surfin' Safari is the debut album by which band? The Beach Boys. And it's Joey's World, Surf Bum John, and Mike Bush. With the Beach Boys. They were my all-time favorite. Was the Beach Boys. We had all kinds of albums. And one of the unique things here in Pittsburgh, and they don't have it here anymore, but it was the Civic Arena, and they would used to open up the roof of the Civic Arena, and I got to go to a Beach Boys concert when they opened up the roof, and it was really cool. But I love the Beach Boys. Okay, we're going back to 1970, and we have two more questions. But here we go. Don't Fear the Reaper was a song from the 1976 album Agents of Fortune by which rock band? Don't Fear the Reaper was a song from the 1976 album Agents of Fortune by which rock band? Okay, John, it's Joey's World, Lisa, and Russ get it with Blue Oyster Cult. So John, Joey and Lisa, and Russ. But it was the Blue Oyster Cult. Okay, John, you get to pick the next question. What category? That's 60s. Going back to the 60s. Okay, here we go. Who played the role of Samantha Stevens in the sitcom Bewitched? Who played the role of Samantha Stevens in the sitcom Bewitched? I'm glad someone got that. Or cowbell. I can't remember her name. Okay, so Mike Bush and the Disney Nerd Herders get it with Elizabeth Montgomery. Elizabeth Montgomery. So Mike Bush, Disney Nerd Herders, and Surf Bomb. Okay, Mike Bush, you get to pick the last category of the evening. The last category of the evening, Mike Bush. Make it a good one. Okay, he is going with the 70s. So here is the last question of the evening in the 1970s. Here we go. Who was Joe Frazier's opponent for the third time in the boxing match known as the Thriller in Manila? Hello, Rob Fuzz. Welcome in. Who was Joe Frazier's opponent for the third time in the boxing match known as the Thriller in Manila? And we got Brian K., Serpum John, and Mike Bush with Muhammad Ali. So Brian K., John, and Mike Bush with Muhammad Ali. Good job, guys. Fast typing there. Welcome in, Rob. We were just finishing up the trivia. Our big winner this evening, and you've been kind of on a big streak here. It's Joey's World. You had way more points. You had 21 points. It's Joey's World. Our second place winner was the Disney Nerd Herders with 18 points. Surf Bum John had 12 points. Brian K. with 11 points. What in the World with Russ with 8 points. Then we have Mike Bush, Catherine Wilby with 5 points. Mike Wheeler, Sebastian the Crab have 3 points. William Portugal, Timothy Rainwaters, 1 point each. This Our Dreams had 2 points. And Annie Koo and Movie Mania Nick, 1 point. And Catherine Wilby, you had 4 points. In case I missed someone. And William, you had 1 point. So congratulations. It's Joey's World, and everyone, good guesses this evening. And I hope you guys all had a great time. And congratulations. You're on fire. It's Joey's World. I do thank everyone for joining this evening. I know others are starting to come in, and it's almost 7 o'clock, and I know the Disney Nerd Herders will be going live at 7 p.m. Also, I know Pete McDevitt has a creator talk show this evening, and also then at 8 p.m. the D&G Explorers and Joy S. and Justin and Peyton on the JPP. Yeah, the JJP escapades, and then the This and That guys, and usually Monarch Moments, but they're not going live this evening. So go check out also Dean of the Live Place, theliveplace.com. And thank you all for joining. I hope you had a great evening. Keep that notification bell rung. That way you'll know when we go live. You never know. I'm also going to be doing a surprise stream. If you're in the stream, you can win a Disney Hallmark ornament that I'll be giving away, and a possible Disney Thomas Kincaid puzzle. So I hope you guys have a great evening, and I will see you all in the chats, and let the adventures begin. Have a great night, everyone, and thank you very much for joining, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Good night, everyone, and we'll see you later. Bye. Yeah, the camera's ready to go there. That's the other thing why I'm holding it out there, because it started to slip. I got to look at the company and see about getting a new suction cup holder for it. But have a great night, everyone. We'll see you later.